Hey everyone, what if your child's toy wept for the life it lost? Tonight, the doll that cried when I looked away. Eyes open, don't blink. Our nightmare unfolds in a sleepy suburb of Salem, Massachusetts. October 2024 leaves crunching crimson underfoot. Enter Clara Beaumont, 34, single mom and antique shop clerk scraping by in a gingerbread-trimmed Victorian rental. Her daughter, little Evie, 6, was all gap-toothed grins and wild curls, obsessed with fairy tales. Evie's birthday loomed. Budget-pinched, Clara scavenged her shop's backroom bins for vintage charm. There, amid tarnished teacups and faded lace, sat Annabelle, a porcelain doll circa 1890. Bisque skin flawless, glass eyes blue as forgotten skies, dressed in yellowed muslin with a stitched smile that tugged heartstrings. "Perfect," Clara murmured, tying a ribbon bow. Evie squealed at the unwrapping, hugging tight. "She looks sad, Mommy, like she misses her family." Clara laughed it off. Imagination, right? But that night, as Evie slept clutching Annabelle, a soft sniffle echoed from the nursery. First week charmed, Annabelle perched on Evie's shelf, guardian of stuffed animals, her china head tilting just so in lamplight. Bedtime stories flowed, Clara weaving tales of doll adventures in moonlit gardens. Evie chattered nonstop. "Annabelle says thank you for the home." Clara smiled, tucking them in, but post-kiss, turning away. A hitch, tiny, wet, pricked the hall. She spun back, silence, Evie's chest rising even. "Wind," Clara whispered, shutting the window tighter. Dreams that night? Hers, not Evie's. A girl's laughter in an attic, cut short by shattering glass, doll limbs scattering like broken promises. Waking sweaty at 3 a.m., Clara patted to check. Annabelle's eyes caught moonlight seeming to follow. Paranoia? New mom jitters from solo parenting. She blamed the shop's dusty air, brewing chamomile strong. Routine wove the doll in deeper. Evie played tea parties, pouring invisible cups for Annabelle, giggling at her sips. Clara joined after shifts, shop smells of old books clinging, lavender and leather. But oddities stitched. Evie's drawings shifted overnight, happy stick figures morphing to teary faces, Annabelle's at center. "She cries when I'm not looking," Evie lisped one afternoon, crayons pausing. Clara's laugh faltered. She pocketed a sketch, chalking it to kid whimsy. Evening bath time. Evie splashing, doll watching from the sink edge. Clara turned for shampoo, splash, then sob, muffled as a hiccup. Whirling. Dry porcelain, Evie's foam beard intact. "Imagination's a gift," Clara cooed. But her reflection in the steamy mirror looked gaunt, eyes shadowed like Annabelle's stitched sorrow. Curiosity clawed. Clara dug shop records during slow hours. Annabelle's tag, property of E. Hawthorne, 1892, do not separate. Hawthorne? Local lore flickered. Eliza Hawthorne, mill owner's daughter, died at 7 in a factory blaze, doll clutched charred in her arms. Whispers of cursed heirlooms in town forums, but Clara scoffed. Ghost stories sell candles, not truth. Home that eve, she shared sanitized bits over mac and cheese. Evie's eyes widened. Annabelle's girl? She wants her mommy back. Bedtime sobered. Clara lingered, but duty called. Laundry folding in the dim kitchen. Head down, a wail-pierced, raw, childish from upstairs. Bolting up, she found Evie asleep, doll tumbled to floor, cheeks damp, wipe test nothing. Heart slamming, Clara righted her, whispering, "No more stories." Evie's aunt, Sophie, Clara's free-spirited sister, 31, yoga instructor with henna tattoos, dropped by for auntie night. Boisterous, pizza forts, tickle wars, Annabelle invited to the fray. Sophie scooped her up, cooing, "Creepy cute." What's her deal? Clara spilled the snippets over wine. Sophie, ever the empath, held a doll circle, crystals from her bag encircling Annabelle on the coffee table. "Energy cleanse," she winked. Lights dimmed for movie. Evie conked out mid-Pixar. Sophie and Clara chatted low, turning to refill glasses, a gasp. Evie stirring? No, doll's chest heaving. Sophie yelped first, tiny tears tracing china cracks. They blinked, dry. Trick of light. Sophie breathed, but her hand trembled on the wine stem. Evie woke crying, nightmare of fire, doll burning. Doubt deepened cracks. Clara stashed Annabelle in the attic trunk overnight. Dusty eaves, spider silk veils. Evie pouted dawn. She's lonely up there. Reluctant, Clara fetched her. Doll's eyes seemed dimmer, lashes clumped, days blurred. Evie's fevers spiked random, babbling of hot attic, can't breathe. Clara's shifts dragged, shop patrons eyeing Annabelle on display. That one's got a story. Hawthorne, yeah? Girl burned with it. Whispers spread. Clara yanked her down. Home solace, frayed. Tucking Evie, Clara stepped out, sob instant wrenching. Back Annabelle face down, Evie's bunny soaked. Not funny, Clara snapped to empty room. Dreams invaded hers. Eliza's voice, small. Look at me, always. Waking mirror showed her eyes. Blue, not hazel. Panic brewed tea stronger. Sophie returned armed. Sage bundles, Ouija board for fun. Sisters lit the bundle. Smoke curling attic thick even downstairs. Board session post-bedtime. Planchette danced Eliza. Spelled her name, Sophie gasped. Questions flew. What do you want? Why? Clara's stomach nodded. Evie wandered in, rubbing eyes. Annabelle's crying again. Upstairs, doll on floor, tears pooling real on the quilt. Salt tangy, tested later. Sophie paled. It's possessing the doll, or worse, calling her. They banished, salt lines, chants from YouTube, but Dawn brought Evie's sketch. Clara's face, but Eliza's braids. You look like her mommy now, Evie said, innocent dagger. Clara locked the shop early, drove aimless, wind whispering through vents like sobs. Town lore lured Clara to the Historical Society. Musty archives, volunteer librarian with owl specs. Files spilled. Eliza's fire, mill collapse killing 12. Her doll, only survivor unscarred. Rumor, doll wept at the funeral, unexplained. A photo, Eliza clutching Annabelle identical to Evie. Chills iced her spine. Back home, Sophie waited with a plan. Returned the doll to Hawthorne gravesite, a full circle. Twilight ritual. They drove to the overgrown cemetery, Evie asleep in back. Moon-silvered headstones. Clara placed Annabelle at Eliza's plot, whispering apology. Wind died, silence blessed. But car seat stir, Evie clutching. Nothing? Doll back in her arms, eyes gleaming. She didn't want to stay, Evie murmured, stroking china hair. Descent spiraled. Evie's play turned possessive. Doll never leaving sight, tantrums of pride. Clara's reflection blurred. Hazel eyes flecking blue, dreams bleeding days, flashes of mill flames, Eliza's screams. Sophie crashed nights but whispers targeted, her henna fading to burns. One pre-dawn, Clara woke to Evie's room empty. Bed cold, doll solo on floor, weeping audible gut punch sobs. Panic search, Evie in the kitchen, drawing for Annabelle. But paper showed flames. Eliza's face melting into Evie's. Mommy's coming home, she said. Voice layered, hers, then small, antique. Clara scooped her up, fleeing to Sophie's yoga studio, dawn lit. It's swapping them, Sophie realized, voice cracking. Crystals shattered on contact with doll, now chained in a box. Isolation armored them. Clara quit the shop, barricaded home, boards on windows, salt thresholds. Evie's fevers raged. Delirium rants of hot so hot, skin blistering faint. Sophie sourced a medium, Madame Voss, 60s, turbaned and tarot-scarred from city contacts. Session in the living room. Voss touched Annabelle, recoiled. Soul fragment, girl's grief bound in porcelain. It cries for reunion, pulls the living to fill the void. Ritual brewed. Burn the doll at midnight, ashes to grave. But Evie clung. Don't hurt her, she's me now. Voss warned. Delay, and it takes the child whole. Storm gathered outside. Clara's hands shook on the matchbox. Evie's eyes blew fully, pleading from the crib. Climax ignited literal. Midnight toll. Clara struck the match, flames licking muslin. Annabelle's scream pierced not cloth, but child's wail. Evie's pitch. Doll charred slow. China cracking pops like bones, tears vaporizing to steam. Evie convulsed in Sophie's arms, skin cooling, eyes flickering hazel. Voss chanted Latin, binding the fragment. Fire roared unnatural. Shadows dancing Eliza's form on walls reaching. Clara hurled the pyre into the yard rain, stomping embers to ash. Wail crescendoed, then, hush. Evie sighed, curls damp. Mommy? Voice pure. Dawn inspected, shards inert, no glow. Relief flooded, but Clara's palm, blistered with tiny handprint. Afterglow dimmed quick. Evie healed. Fevers fled, drawing sunny again, but nightmares lingered. The doll's still crying somewhere. Sophie moved in temporary, sage-scented safety net. Town buzzed. Shop haunted sale, cleared stock. Clara rehired remote. But mirrors betrayed. Clara's eyes held blue flecks permanent, dreams of attics unbidden. Voss's follow-up. Fragments shattered, but echoes cling like static on souls. Evie's new toy. A teddy, safe. Yet one night, attic creak. Clara investigated, trunk ajar, single china shard glinting. Wipe tear bead. She buried it garden deep, but Evie's laugh from below echoed. Layered? Month-stitched normalcy. Evie's school play starred her as brave girl. Clara's shop thrived sans curses. Sophie dated a carpenter, fortifying walls literal. But anniversary eve, Evie's 7th gift unwrapped. Antique locket from anonymous admirer. Inside, faded photo, Eliza's face smiling, but eyes, Evie's. Clara burned it swift, ashes wind scattered. Voss confirmed, shards seek vessels, yours now carries the cry. They relocated south, fresh start in Carolina Pines. New home toy-free, but Evie's whispers to shadows. Shh, Annabelle, we're safe. Clara wakes some nights to distant sobs, wind, or echo in her veins, doll's grief woven eternal. The cry lingers. Turn away and it calls your name. So next thrift find, listen close, it might weep when you walk away. Eyes wide, friends, more shadows soon.